Hello Flosstube, my name is Mariam. You may know me as Marroomycrafts on Instagram or MarroomyDesigns on Gumroad. Welcome to my 5th installment of Flosstube Extra, which means that I have finished a design and I'm ready to share it with you. Before we actually get to the actual design, I want to give you a little bit of background on how I came to design this specific pattern. I have been interested in samplers ever since I started stitching, and that was something that I found missing in my research when I researched like fabric art and fiber art in Iran. And I could not find anything that was remotely similar to samplers, the Western idea of samplers. And I kept searching, but I started designing too. I thought if there is nothing similar to it, I can bring something up. So I started with taking motifs from Gap Bay, architectural design, and also from rug weaving and patterns that was available, and I started using those and implementing those in my designs. I would say about a month ago I came across a word vagire, and it was used in the context of research about different samplers in Iran, and so that I was intrigued. What is vagire? It came to my attention during my research that this is a specific type of rugs that were actually sampler rugs that were made by either master designers at a time or by students who were trying to gain that mastery in rug making and pattern designs at the time. So the way it worked, it was either as a homework to from mentor to mentee, just to practice how to design and also put different motifs together, or practice weaving different patterns in rugs, or it was used as sample of that rug to show whoever was ordering that specific rug as a way to get approval of the patterns, the color, the combination of different, like make their choices on different borders or different motifs that were used in those rugs. And then when the decision was made, the actual rug was made. It was really popular during 17th and 18th century Iran, and the reason for it was at the time rug patterns were not really drawn, they were written. So if you look back and do research, you find that these are like just written, like, okay, it's the first row, 2 of this color, 3 of that color. So it's description of how to weave the rug instead of actually having a visual representation and a pattern to weave the rug based off of. So that means that there had nothing to show the person who ordered the rug before it was done. So to remedy that, these samplers were born, and they were popular only for a short period of time. At the time, they're actually worth nothing. Like after it was done, either the designer or one of the students would actually take it home and use it as like everyday rugs. Nowadays, they are really valuable because they are one of a kind. You cannot find anything similar to that specific rug, so they're unique in every sense of the word. They're really scarce because there are not many of them, because they were only popular in a couple of centuries, and rug making goes back to millennia in Iran, so it has a long history. So for only a short period of time they were using this type of samplers to make those rugs. And by the way, I actually if you notice, I actually inserted a few of those photos of the vagire samplers at the beginning of this video, so you should be able to go back now that I have explained what they were and rewatch it again. So when I found that, I was really interested in creating samplers based on those designs. I found a few, kind of those vagires that were more interesting, which were a combination of similar motifs in one collection. So either repeating different, not repeating, but like collection of different borders all in one, or collection of different flowers, different animal motifs, the center flowers, which is actually really important in rugs, that the flower that usually you find in the center of that pattern. Those kind of like samplers, those kind of vagaries were really interesting to me. So I decided to create my own. So I'm hoping to come up with more than one, but it's not a series. So if I come up with another one, that will be great. If not, this alone is, like I said, a standalone pattern. It doesn't really need to be part of a collection to stand up, basically. So without further ado, this is Afshan sampler. So it's a collection of borders. On top you have a band of Persian alphabet or Farsi alphabet. So Farsi is written from right to left. So from right to left, all 32 letters of the alphabet is here represented. These are some of the borders, and then we have the namesake of this pattern, Afshan. So Afshan is one of the flowers, one of the most commonly used flower in Persian rock patterns. It's this kind of like really open flower. Another name for it is mother flower. So yeah, I thought it was fitting to have that like be a star of the show and name it, the whole sampler, after it. I decided to create like a combination of geometric pattern and flower motifs because I was having Afshan be the center of attention here. And inspired by Sambri Stitches, who came up with Hebrew alphabet sampler pretty recently, I decided to add Farsi alphabet on top because representation matters, right? And also some of the people who have been really kind to share their thoughts about my designs with me have suggested before that I should come up with alphabet sampler. So this is not a real alphabet sampler. I might come up with like a more like full-on alphabet sampler at a later date, but right now I just thought including a band of alphabet will give this make it more interesting. It's 190 by 190 stitches. It's a stitch on 20 count. The model that I stitched was on 20 count vintage country mocha using 12 weight sulky in 1189 or chestnut. I actually have it here. So this is this dark red. Of course you can stitch this in any color you like, including black. It will be really striking actually if you stitch this in black and use a very nice and interesting light color as background. So yeah, I'm really happy with it, to be honest. It's one of the most interesting patterns that I have designed so far. And the border is really simple row of tiny flowers that goes around. All right. Yes, I hope you like this. So there is 17,976 stitches in this. I was able to stitch it in 18 days. The last 5 of which I was really focused on it and wanted to get it done. It's not a quick stitch, but it's not a difficult stitch either because it's monochrome. Of course, if you decide to use several different colors, you're welcome to, because I mean, these are bands and you can easily just stitch each band in different color if you want to. So you can make it into a rainbow if you like that. Also, you can borrow from each of these bands in other stitching and use it as borders, because that was the whole point of these kind of samplers. Vagire samplers is that it's just a sample of different motifs. So you're welcome to borrow from pieces of this and maybe just have the Afshan flower and just use a border and frame it in different way, or use those different borders on different pattern and frame that with it. So sky is the limit, right? Yeah, I'm really proponent of I designed this, I give it to you, but what you do with it is up to you. So I hope you like it. I hope you enjoy stitching. I decided to release this right before November, so if you decide to stitch this for Black Sampler November, please make sure that you include the hashtag of MarroomyDesigns or Marroomycrafts so I can see your progress. I'll be really happy to see your progress for sure. All right, that is it. So I hope you enjoy your stitchy time and have fun and enjoy the pattern and take care of yourself.